Hi there, and today we've gone to East Yorkshire, a place called Bridlington. So let's have a look around and see what it's all about. You'll notice that the beaches at this end are a bit rocky and pebbly. That changes as you get further in. This is the very outskirts of the resort. Now we've started from the northern edge of Bridlington, and you'll notice this little platform here. That's for a land train, as they call it. One of those little cars that has meant to look like a train. And it goes all the way from here, all down the promenade, right up to the end of Bridlington. So you can jump on, see the whole of Bridlington, jump off where you need to, and see both beaches, no matter where you're staying in the resort itself. Quite a handy thing to have. When we've got to the other end of Bridlington, you'll see where it actually ends, and it's quite a decent place, quite a decent walk, should I say. The promenade is just over a mile long, so you can see it's quite a decent walk, and that's just getting to the harbour itself. One thing that they have got right is they've got toilets at regular places along the promenade and in Bridlington itself, which a lot of seaside resorts just don't seem to plan properly for. You'll notice as well that the beach is starting to become more of a sandy beach, the type of beach that you expect on the east coast of the UK. Now these are two people who came from Hawaii, and they were what brought surfing to the UK. They came to Bridlington, and apparently it was somebody at Bridlington that actually shaped their boards for them. Some cute little birds there. They've obviously not gone home for the winter, much like the Yorkshire coast. Those who've visited this channel before will know that I always try and give you a little bit of info about the places we're visiting, and today's no different. Bridlington is actually mentioned in the Domesday Book, but not as Bridlington. It was called Bridlington in the Houghton 100, which obviously makes no sense today, but you can see where the word Bridlington originated from. I promised you the Golden Sands, and here they are. Bridlington was really just a small fishing port, but it grew up slowly around a small quay, and when the Victorians discovered that there was a spring nearby, that's when it became the seaside resort that you can see today. Or that was the first starting point anyway. The thing that made Bridlington one of the main resorts on the Yorkshire coast, is what happened in 1846. On the 6th of October 1846, it gained a railway station, and that brought travellers to this little harbour, which was soon to become a major seaside place. When you start to get tourists coming to a resort, thanks to the likes of the train in Victorian times, you need entertainment. So, there became, in 1896, the new Spa and Gardens. The theatre holds audiences of about 1,000, and the Royal Hall about 3,000. You'll notice down there's a small fun fair, helter-skelter, one or two rides. I mean, obviously, it's winter, so it's shut, so there's not really much I can show you there. But we're walking past the leisure centre now towards the main area, if you like, of Bridlington, where the amusements are, etc. I'll go through them with you in a moment. But all this area here wasn't anything like this only maybe 15, 20 years ago. They really went to town to improve the area. I remember going in the 1970s, 80s to Bridlington and thought it was a fishing village that's got a few amusements in it, and that was it. But now they have improved it dramatically, I think. Now, this is something that I'm seeing more and more when I'm visiting these places, and that's sunbathing chairs near the seafront. Now, I don't know who had the idea of these, but they are such a good idea. Even in the winter, just somewhere to sit down and lay back a bit, I suppose, but they're becoming more and more prevalent everywhere. Even in early January, well, middle of January now, near enough, you can see that there's amusements open. But one thing that did surprise me was that. What do you advertise? You advertise OAP food. Obviously aiming at a different marketplace than I would have thought of done. It does seem to me as though near enough everything's open. Yes, it's a brightish day, it's cold, but yeah, there's some places closed, but you've got shops open, you've got pubs open, food places open. I do like what they've done with that place, Treasure Island. Reminds me of when you go to Blackpool. That is really well themed out at Blackpool. Well, that's an unusual idea. Mini golf with a ghost walk? And of course, they have the music blaring out everywhere. Mr. YouTube really loves it when we have copyrighted music playing. So that's why I'm talking through that a little bit. But if you look at here, I've not been in there, but that looks like somewhere great for kids to have a look round. I suppose it's a jungle gym type place, but I don't know. Certainly looks interesting though. Serious fun, eh? Monty's Zoomers. Yeah, I've had to turn the volume down on the music. We're just doing this little bit because of the fact it is a bit too loud for Mr. YouTube. It always worries me when you see a menu outside. Looks all nice, but no prices anywhere. At least if you can see the price, you get an idea whether you can afford to go in it. And when you've got 5 kids with you, it makes a difference. You can see we're in peak season. There's plenty to do along this bit of Bridlington seafront. Amusements. Well, there's the fun fair down there. Plenty of bits and pieces everywhere. Right, we're walking towards the harbour now, and yes, there's one or two places here, the entrance to the fun fairs down there, things like that, but there are a few more places closed at this little corner of it. Even in the middle of January, amusements arcades are open. Almost makes me wonder, all the electric costs of that. They can't have that much business at this time of the year. As across the road, you may have just noticed something at the side. Yes, more sunbathing seats everywhere, but that's not what I was referring to. It's over there. Papa's Fish and Chips. Supposedly the best fish and chips you can get. But there are certainly plenty of places to sit down on a warm day when you're at Bridlington. If you don't want to be on the beach, that is. As you can see there, ice cream's £1.50. It's not too expensive in Bridlington either. Now we're just going to have a quick walk along the harbour side. But if you look down there, you can see the sand. As I say, golden sand. But the harbour itself is a tidal harbour. What that means is basically that the water goes in and out, and so does the level of the harbour. Some harbours don't get affected in the same way as that. As I say, beautiful golden sands. Let me know in the comments if you know what type of birds these are. There seem to be loads of them about today. So this was excavated from the North Pier and restored and put here in 1977. And there's your pirate ship. If you fancy a quick tour around in a pirate ship, there you go. So it's only £3 for a 10-minute ride. The neighbouring resorts of Flamborough, Hornsea and Withersea, the likes of Filey, have all their own particular different types of facilities. So whereas Bridlington is more the seaside resort, they've got things like the RSPB birdwatching site at Brempton Cliff. Just different things that you can go see So if you were staying in Bridlington, there are bits and pieces nearby, and you're not that far away from Scarborough and Whitby either. So if you've never been to them, you can have a look there. I've got videos on the site about those. But you've got a whole entertainment of different types in one area. So as we walk around the harbour itself, you can see there's plenty of little shops. But what I'm going to do is, once we've gone around this little piece here, is just go up into the town and walk round to the South Bay. Now, the North Bay we've seen, and it's very sandy, etc. But the South Bay is much more relaxed. It's the sort of area that people know exists, but they don't necessarily go to. So if it's busy on the North Bay for the beach, South Bay is usually quite clear. That noise you can hear in the background is actually from one of the shops just down here. And the daft thing is, it's got people inside it having drinks and bites to eat, and nobody's bothering with the siren. It's from obviously the building just above the cafe there, right at there. The three brass monkeys. Strange that nobody's dealing with it. There's some quite unusual shops in Bridlington. Not unusual, probably, more interesting shops. And there's probably as many equally interesting people in Bridlington.
Come on, give it a wave.
Come to Naked Fish. Best fish and chips in Brid.
Right, okay, mate. Cheers.
I love it when people get involved. Now, this shop here, I know the reflection on the window isn't very good, but it's your typical sci-fi type place with your Doctor Who, Stranger Things, all that sort of stuff, Star Wars, anything of that sort of nature in it. If I had the time, I'd have gone in, but unfortunately today, not so much time.
Nice shop.
Again, some of the shops are shut because obviously touristy place, they're not going to get the business during this time of the year, but there's lots that are open. So So if you need a new pair of shoes or something, you're coming to the right place. And t-shirt printing while you wait. But there are quite a few that are shut. Not like they're permanently shut. That looks like a fun shot. Even the Hulk sat outside. And there's a chopper in the window. From 1970s, you'll know what they are. It surprised me walking around how many people were actually about. I don't know if for locals or like us just visiting for the day, but there seemed to be an awful lot of people about, and the car parks had quite a few people parked in them. I believe there is a park and ride on the outskirts of Bridlington for when it is busy, but still very busy for 2 weeks into January. And now we're actually coming to the South Beach. You may well be more inclined towards the South Beach and then walk into the amusements. This raised little bit here with the glass panels, if it's a little bit breezy and whatnot, you can sit behind there and watch what's going on along the promenade, the beach, etc. It's not bad, is it? Don't see them anywhere else. Don't recollect seeing them anywhere. I would personally say the South Beach is a better beach, purely because of the size of it. And that's Bridlington Spa from Victorian times, obviously been modernised a bit, still putting shows on there. The beaches, as I say, they just go on and on and on. Fantastic part. Really don't understand what toys have got to do with theatre. I don't suppose there's many shows at the spa that are going to have toys everywhere. Do you fancy seeing the Fileys or Jacksons? Well, they're on here. And this is how far the train comes to. You can see it's quite a distance, so you really don't have to do the long walk. Obviously, it's not operating this time of the year, but certainly well worth consideration during the summer months.
Well, I hope you've enjoyed our little trip to Bridlington today.
Yes, it may be early January and it may be cold. We've even had a bit of drizzle as we've been walking about, but it's not been a bad day. Nice skies at the moment, although over there's looking a little bit dodgy. But anyway, if you've enjoyed it, I think this next video you'll enjoy thoroughly. But if you have enjoyed it so you don't miss anything, hit the subscribe button.